Hi, Jane.
Hi, Lydia. I'm thinking, should I have a number for this call already? An ID number for the Zoom?
No, well, you should have the link in the email that I sent.
What, did you say this morning?
No, I can send it again. I sent it a couple of days ago.
I'm without my laptop's not working, so I'm doing everything on my phone. Just a bit more.
Okay.
Yeah.
You can, okay, just a moment. I'll get it to you. Let's see here. The agenda is here. Oh, no. Agenda is here. Okay. I just sent it, so in a couple seconds you should.
Okay, that's good. It takes time for between people sending it and coming onto my screen. Often takes time. For instance, on Monday morning, our exercise class was cancelled at 8:24, but I didn't get it until 9 or something. By which time I woke up to exercise.
Oh no! Oh. Well, I guess there was some exercise there.
Yeah.
Oh, that's nice. Oh, that's, yeah, that's good. Good little walk. Well, let's. You want to try and do it while I'm on the phone, just in case, or? Okay. All right. I suggest if you do call to use your landline, if you still have a landline. If you're trying to get on Zoom, just stay with your cell phone. But if you're trying to call me, use your landline. That way you won't interfere with what you're doing on your cell phone. Okay. All right. Thanks. Bye.
Hey there, how you doing?
Fine, how about you?
Let me just close my door. Dishwasher's noisy.
Sure. So I spoke with Jane earlier. She'll be joining us.
Oh, good. I left a message for it too, just in case.
And I don't know about Beth or Jaya. So maybe,
Yeah, how's Beth? I guess we're already recording, never mind. So I won't chit chat. I was just wondering how she was doing. But how are you doing?
I'm fine. Yep, how about you?
Good.
Do you want to call Jaya and I'll call Beth?
Yeah. Just to remind them?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's still 10 of, so
Yeah. We would be nice to have people other than ourselves.
Hi, Beth. Will you be joining us on the Zoom meeting today? We need you for a quorum.
Yeah, I plan to. I should be on in just a minute.
Okay, super. Thanks. Bye. Beth will join us. She said she'd be on in just a minute.
Great.
That looks a little funny. Okay, let's see. You know, one thing I'm curious about with Zoom, when you go to a different screen.
Hold on just a sec.
She'll probably join us.
Hi, Jaya. This is Christine. Lydia and I are on the Zoom early and just wanted to make sure you would be able to join us today. Hope to see you soon. Bye. I'm sorry, what were you saying?
So with Zoom, I'm just looking to see if Jaya sent an email or anything. When you're doing a screen share and other participants might be in the waiting room, how do you get back to the waiting room?
You click on the participants tab down below. And when you bring that up, it'll say if anybody's waiting.
Okay,
So I usually have like that in the corner.
right.
I can keep an eye on that if you let you know.
Yeah, that would be good.
So should I be prepared to share the minutes or do you want to share those?
Yeah, I can do that. Yeah,
Okay.
either way.
If you have it handy, then you don't have to hand off to me. But
Yeah, let me see. I did download them. Let me just see if they're on the screen. Nope. Nope. Yep, there they are. Okay. So when you do screen sharing, do you open up all the documents first, or the ones that you want to share so it goes right to them, or
I usually, I
open
don't
up
maximize it until I have multiple documents up there, but wait until I screen share and then maximize the window I want.
right?
But you can always maximize before, and then it'll show when you do the gesture to show your different windows, different desktops that are open.
Okay.
You can just click on desktop versus.
Mm-hmm.
You can go back and forth between your maximized screen, Zoom screen, and your desktop.
Okay, here we have another. This is Jaya. Okay, so all we need is probably Jane, and if Beth comes, that's great too.
Yeah, it's getting a little lean on the committee, isn't it? I haven't seen my neighbors, and they seem to have guests nonstop. So I haven't approached them yet.
Yeah.
But I was talking to Marcia Sexton at the, and a few other people at the food pantry yesterday. We had our first expanded food pantry with one shopper coming in at a time. But anyway, I let them know if you know anybody, because they always ask how things are going on the recycling.
Oh, nice. Yeah, there's also, I was thinking the Sierra Club or Conservation Law Foundation might have local members.
Hmm.
And so that might be nice
Mhm.
as well.
I haven't started turning on the heat in the house yet. It always warms up, but it starts out around 60 or 62. So I dress real warm in the morning, and then as I progress, I get into cooler clothes.
Oh, I know. Well, it's supposed to be really cold at the end of this week and then warm up on the weekend.
Mm,
I think Bob said something about 30 or so. I don't know.
Really?
Maybe that's in like other parts of New England.
Oh.
I know, it's nuts.
So have you been, are you in Boston or Newton, or are you home?
Nope, I'm home.
Oh, okay.
Upstairs.
I see. There's a new space I haven't seen before.
Yeah. So let's see. Still at 3 participants.
Just run and get something.
Good morning.
Hey, Jaya.
Good morning. Let's see. There we are. I'm at the beach this morning.
Oh, fun. Hey, that looks like a great beach.
Hi, Jaya.
Hi. I thought for whoever's watching, this is pretty good. You know, you got
Well, the thing, yeah, the thing about the backgrounds is when you move your head, it kind of like pixelizes around your head. So.
right. That's why I even got a green screen because I'm doing more on like all of us,
Yeah.
you know, and I could go just about anywhere in the house with a laptop. And after a while, I thought, I really like it when someone does it well.
Mm-hmm.
And they're coming from, look at that one that popped up.
There's Carol. Nice. That's
It's
just
nice. You know, you feel like you've been there. And I'm learning about the lighting, you know,
Carol and Amy
like
will
there's
be
less over there.
yeah.
Yeah, but anyway.
And also putting your screen up a little so it does so you're not like looking at
Yeah,
it at an
I'm
angle. Supposed to
I'm
put
trying to learn to look at the camera.
Oh
and
yeah, I haven't figured that out yet.
Well,
Hi, Carol.
yeah, I read it was
Hi,
more
Amy.
friendly.
She's connected.
It
Hi,
is.
Carol. Yeah.
All right, we still need another, wait, yeah, we still need another RC member. So we're waiting for Jane and Beth, and both said they were going to be joining us, so we will wait.
Well, somebody there is trying to connect to audio.
That's Amy Wolf.
Oh, that's Amy. Oh, good. I picked up plates at Amy's, so I have everything here now that we need for Bridget's wedding.
There we go. There's Beth. All right. And then iPad, this might be Beth. Let's see. Oh yeah, Beth's there. Great. If you want to put on your video, please do. You don't have to though.
Be nice instead of getting a black square with your name.
It's okay. To each his own. So let's start the
Yes,
meeting at
indeed.
11
Yes.
o'clock and we can call the meeting to order.
Okay, I'll take minutes.
Thank you. So on the agenda, we want to do welcome introductions and announcements. So I think everyone knows each other. There's Amy. Why don't we just go around? So Christine, do you want to start?
Yes, Christine Shreves, co-chair of the Recycling Committee.
Guy Carlson, member of the Recycle Committee.
And I'm Amy Wolf, sole member, chair, vice chair, member at large of the Truro Recycling Committee. Happy to see you all.
Welcome.
You.
Carol?
I'm Carol Maginaw. I'm the liaison to the Recycling Committee from the Energy and Climate Action Committee.
And we have Beth there. Bethia Bramer, Recycling Committee member. And, oh, let me in. I see Carrie's joining us.
The iPad 12 is Jane.
Who is the iPad 12?
I think it's Jane, but she's muted. You there, Jane?
Oh, yeah. Let me see. Maybe Christine, I don't know if you could phone her, but I know she's had some problems with the audio on her iPad, on her phone.
Okay. Are we talking about Jane?
Yeah.
Okay. If she's on her phone, though, it's going to be hard for her to.
I know. She has a landline. Maybe try that.
Yeah, I don't have that number. If you can hear us, Jane, you just need to unmute your video.
I've unmuted the thing now. Does that make
Okay,
sense?
good. We can hear you.
Okay, good, good.
All right.
I was waiting for things to appear on the top of the screen. There was nothing there. Now there is. Okay, fine, good.
Okay, you're all set. So welcome, everybody. We have a few guests with us. It's Amy Wolf of Truro Recycling Committee, Carol Maginot of the Wellfleet Climate Action and Energy Committee, and Carrie Parcell of the Mass DEP in Barnstable County. So we'll get started, and we're going to start with announcements. Sorry, we did the welcome. We'll go to the agenda. Introductions and any announcements from anyone? Okay.
We need more members.
Yeah, we need more members. I think we have space for 2 regulars and 2 alternates. Is that right? Or one regular and
1 regular and 1 alternate.
okay.
And 2 alternates, I mean.
Yeah. So,
One regular, okay.
and we do meet always by Zoom, 11 o'clock on the first Tuesday of the month. We could consider changing the time if it meant that we'd get a couple more members. So that's something to consider. And Chris Wisniewski was sorry she couldn't make it to today's meeting, but she did let us know. So let's go right to the agenda. Approved at town meeting, the Wellfleet commercial plastic water bottle ban. Huge congratulations to everybody, and especially to Christine, who did so much work with sustainable practices. So that's super, super exciting. And town meeting was pretty great out on the ball field lawn there.
It went really well.
Yeah. It was one of the
All
things.
all over the Cape, apparently. According to the Independent, all those outside meetings on the Cape went very well.
Good.
Other towns did,
Yeah, maybe they'll do it in the future. It was also a Saturday. It was nice.
Yeah.
I think it puts people in a more positive frame of mind, maybe.
Yeah.
Except in
Yeah.
Truro.
And Truro passed it too, right, Amy? Or no, Turo's coming up in October.
Truro, no, we had Truro, and the layout, the physical experience of the meeting was terrific, but I felt that the meeting was really quite a disaster. We didn't,
Oh
our
dear.
manager took our municipal bottle ban off the warrant because it was too complicated, and then people were really, it was very divisive. It was not a good scene, so I'm sort of,
Oh, that's too bad.
yeah, but I'm new to all this, but it appears to be sort of something Truro needs to work on.
Mhm. Well, there's so many other communities on the Cape, I think. When you have there's another town meeting in October, is that right, in Truro?
No, I don't think so.
I mean, wait a minute, this is October. Sorry.
We had it on the the 26th.
Okay.
Yeah. Whoops.
Yeah. Well,
But
Christine.
there was a
you
lot of
said-
affordable housing angst.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Christine, so do you want to name the towns that have approved it? Some really big towns? Falmouth?
Yeah, I think 6 out of 6 votes so far. And I was just looking for that email. Actually, I think I sent it to the recycling committee. So let me look at their email. As I recall, it's Provincetown, Wellfleet, Eastham, Brewster, Falmouth, and there was one more, maybe Dennis. Not sure. I'll find the email
Sure.
as we talk.
Good. And do they all go into effect typically in 2021, like a year later?
So the list is Brewster that passed, Brewster, Wellfleet, Falmouth, P-Town, Eastham, and Harwich.
Mhm.
This does not include Dennis, which their meeting was on Saturday, and I have not heard about Dennis yet.
Mhm.
And other upcoming ones are Mashpee is on October 19th, Orleans on October 31st, Bourne on November 16th, and Sandwich and Yarmouth also in November.
Mhm.
And they all have this on their warrant?
They've all approved.
Well, the six that have voted have all approved. I'll send you
Right.
this. I think I might have emailed you this, Amy.
Okay,
If not, I'll forward it to you right now. It's a list. The only thing it doesn't include is what happened in Denver on Saturday.
and this is a commercial ban, correct?
It's the commercial ban, yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome
I
for
know.
you all. Wow.
Amy, do you use your Hotmail or your Gmail? Both?
Hotmail. No, Hotmail, yeah.
Alrighty.
So curious, and is everyone, well, of the ones that have approved it, it's all starting in the same time, September 2021?
Yes.
Okay. So it'll be coordinated that way, and that's good.
Right.
Hopefully that'll be for every town, even the ones that are approving, might approve it.
I mean, Provincetown is great in terms of, grocery store. Orleans has passed everything so far, so hopefully
Yeah.
they will as well.
I know that when I go to the store, I notice more and more water in alternative packaging, like cans or glass or paper. Yeah, that's great. There's
Wanna talk
also,
about any next steps now, or should we talk about that later?
let's see, do we have it later in the agenda? Why don't we talk about it now, since we're all there? Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know if this is a good time to do any outreach to businesses about alternatives.
Let's
But
see, yeah.
at some point, I mean, maybe in the spring is a better time. But we should do some, maybe some pricing of alternatives, bulk pricing that we can send around. And maybe, I know when you did the polystyrene, Lydia, that you had sort of an event, well, we can't really have an event, but I guess it'll have to be a virtual event of having sample products for businesses.
Yes, we had representatives from different paper companies at the time
Mm-hmm.
come in and show their wares. So something like that could be done
Yeah, I
virtually
remember
as well.
that. Yeah. I thought that was good.
The folks from Open Water could be invited, and others, anyone that's producing, even the bigger companies like Polar they're Massachusetts based, and
Mm-hmm.
they could perhaps be invited
Right.
as well.
Mm-hmm.
Could get a list together.
Anyway, it's just something to think about. Maybe the spring would be a better time to,
Mm.
and we'll have other results from how many towns
Mhm.
have passed it.
Yeah. Winter might be a good time just because it's going to be slower. In the spring, they're all going to get pretty busy pretty quickly,
True.
I think.
I was thinking in the same line that mid to late winter, people sometimes start thinking of what's coming up for spring and summer. So that might be a good psychological time to introduce alternatives
Yeah.
Right.
and
The new
such.
year, the new
Yeah,
water.
I'd be happy to do some work on researching if we come up with what needs to be researched and
Great.
so forth.
Super.
Thank you, Jay.
I have a question. Are we just talking about alternatives to water containers?
Yes.
Or other alternatives about getting glass off the shelves? Like, it's very hard now to buy olive oil without it being in plastic. It's hard to find olive oil in glass.
Yeah.
Things like,
Oh.
are we just
I consistently buy olive oil in glass. I haven't bought it in plastic in a decade.
Oh, well, that's good. I found it
Yeah.
hard. Anyway.
Maybe, Jane, it might be that I don't know. I'm kind of very surprised at it, but maybe it's very small quantities that I don't buy. It might be in tiny
Where do
quantities.
you shop
Well,
mostly?
we order it, so we get it at a good price, but I'd be
Yeah.
willing to, when we're ordering again, tell the committee and whoever wants to get it on the lower price we get, because we get it in quantity.
In bulk.
I-
Yes,
in-
no,
in bulk, but they're still in their own containers. And we try to support the Palestines to help with the
Right.
quality. So we buy oil that is produced in Palestine. And it's
even better.
quality.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's get back to the water issue, just because I think
Yes,
that's
yes.
great. That can be shared outside of the meeting, so.
Yes,
Yeah.
And brought up at the next one, too, if you
Mhm.
want to talk about more.
Okay.
olive oil. So Jai was gonna do some research on alternatives and outreach to businesses maybe in January. Prepare for
I don't know about
January.
reaching the businesses with all this, the stickiness around personalities and pushiness. I don't want to approach people in the town, honestly. But I'll do any research you want me to,
Okay.
very happily.
Good.
Yeah, well, we can talk about it in January, maybe.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, let's move on to town water supply. So everybody saw what happened last week with the E. coli in the town water supply and the boil orders for restaurants and homes. So that was quite scary, but it's been lifted. So things are back to normal now. It's still a little unclear to me what exactly happened. Was it a failure in the
There's a
pipes?
break in the pipe. A break in the pipes, I was
It
told.
was a break in the pipes, okay.
But they were not good. The town was not good about letting people know, that's for sure.
I don't know.
I mean,
I
I
got
got a
an
call.
email, I think right like at night it came in. I subscribed to the
you have
town.
to-
I got mine on the phone, but 2 days later.
Oh,
You only got it
I'm
right
not-
away
I'm
if you signed up for emergency contacts, but they're working to address that. Apparently, they're
But there
getting.
are so few people on town water, you'd think they would just automatically have them.
mhm, that's true. But I think they have to sign up for it. That's probably. I know that, I think James Hood and the chair and the committee secretary made phone calls to all the people on town water.
Right.
We got it online almost immediately, and we're on a well.
Mm.
We got it, but you have to be looking at your computer
No.
to find out it came in.
Mhm.
And you have to sign up for that contact, the Civic Plus contact.
I didn't even know we did, because we're on well water, so anyway.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
and it sends an emergency notice out to everybody who's signed up for emergency.
Okay.
So for that, it's good that it was resolved quickly. They flush the system often. I think there's huge amounts of capacity because we have a gigantic water tank. So they're often flushing water away. And
Wow,
that's why
amazing.
it's really great to have more water stations too, because there's a huge amount of water available. I guess one other just concern in town water is for the people that have well water with this severe drought, it's kind of scary. They've been talking about wells going dry. I don't know if that's happened in Wellfleet, but I think water conservation is really important.
Right.
So I know, Christine, you visited Winslow's and they were collecting the water that was dripping from an air conditioner in the back. They had one of those big blue barrels to collect rainwater, but this
Yeah,
was
for their
from that.
garden. They were just feeding it back into the garden.
Yeah, which is a great idea. Just think of all the water that's,
Mhm.
could have just gone into the ground, which is okay too, but this way it's collected and used for a garden, which is nice.
Yeah.
Anyway, I hope that the Board of Water Commissioners and maybe the Conservation Commission will think a little more about water conservation. I haven't seen much about it. Like people, I know in Provincetown sometimes they have orders, not to water your lawn and things like that. But with a severe drought, it's something they should think about. Maybe something we can bring up if you want as individuals or whatever. The transfer station update. Christine, would you read Mike's email?
Yeah, let me just pull it up.
Okay, thanks. Mike Sakali, the transfer station foreman. And I have some notes on pay-as-you-throw and processed glass aggregate as well.
Okay, so Mike says, hi all, I won't be able to make the meeting, but I will give you an update. Pay-as-you-throw bags have been pushed back until the Board of Health meets on October 14th. They will decide what they would like to do and hopefully set a date so we can advertise. I don't know when anything will change with our recycling, but once things can be done safely, I would put the glass containers back out, even if we stayed with single stream. Aside from that, things here have been going well. There is an odd thing in the recycling here and there, pillows, but overall people have done well with putting the right things in the bins, and we've not had any issues getting rid of it. Our seasonal employees, Lenny and Bruce, are gone for the year, so it's just the three of us. Be well, Mike.
Yeah, so pay-as-you-throw has been on the back burner now for a while, I think since maybe.
Do you understand the justification for that, Lydia?
No, I mean, I think partly it's, maybe it has to do with contact, little contact as possible. And for those that may not want to go to the stores and things like that to pick up, to buy bags, that may be a part of it.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I was thinking about pay-as-you-throw in general in the purple bags, and I know that many national conservation groups and the MassDEP obviously too promotes pay-as-you-throw as one of the best ways to increase recycling and reduce trash, and that's why we do it. And it's like a utility. You only pay for as many bags as you throw out. So there's an incentive to produce a lot of trash and to get your, say, your food waste out of your trash can. And I wonder if there's a way to partner with the Black Earth composting to encourage more food waste pickup, residential.
Isn't it the case too that it's perfectly okay to put paper in your composting? A lot of people throw paper away that could go in their composting, it seems to me.
Yeah, I think that's one of the things that this Black Earth company is accepting is newspaper and paper.
I mean, you mean accepting to recycle, but I'm saying that stuff that's, paper, dirty pizza boxes can go in your compost, whereas you couldn't put them in your recycling.
Yeah.
I think Christine, go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say they do accept pizza boxes in recycling now. That's new.
Good, good.
And there's a Instagram for if anyone follows our Instagram feed. Chris posted an update about pizza boxes. Carrie, do you know what the change is in pizza boxes that made it okay? I think Carrie's got her.
Yeah, so with pizza boxes, when MassDEP back in 2018 met with the MRFs here in the Commonwealth, they had determined that that was part of the list that was okay. Mm-hmm. Even a little bit of grease. So the new standard is that it's just empty. So just make sure that little paper, the little table or any food residue, but a little bit of cheese and grease is okay. So that's actually been standard since 2018. What we're starting to find is that a lot of contracts with recycling facilities, if municipalities do have contracts for recycling, which a lot don't, so they can follow markets. But if they do, in those contracts, it does say that pizza boxes or pizza boxes with grease is a contaminant, even though that needs to change. So as of right now, there is an understanding and a consensus between the sorting facilities and the state that pizza boxes, even with a little grease and cheese, are okay.
Good, thanks.
Thank you.
Yep.
I know that I was listening to a podcast the other day. It was an interview with the person talking about processed glass aggregate, and he was saying that the paper market's gone up $5 recently, like in the past month or so, per ton. So that's a positive.
Yeah, fiber, you should be receiving revenue for fiber and not paying. And when I use the word disposal, I don't mean like in your trash. I just mean for disposal of to a processing facility. So right now there should be no reason that any municipal transfer station should be paying for that unless again, they're under contract. So, because then they have to kind of follow the contract pricing. But if you're not under contract, which I don't believe any of the Cape Cod towns have at the moment, besides maybe the town of Bourne and Falmouth with E.L. Harvey for single stream, everybody kind of chooses where their material streams go, especially if they're source separated. So fibers are on the up right now, which is great.
Excellent. And is that cardboard and paper?
So, so it's cardboard and newspaper. Mixed paper really doesn't hold any value, but it's not necessarily at the moment considered a contaminant. So if you have one compactor for all three streams, newspapers, mixed paper, and cardboard, you still should be receiving a revenue. It might not be as high as if it's just cardboard or just newspaper, but it doesn't affect it as much as it can on occasion when fibers are down.
I do think
Truro has a single stream contract as well.
Yeah, so I just talked to Jared yesterday, and the single stream has gone up 60 tons since COVID. And that's just from the sort of Amazon effect of, you know, packaging being delivered, takeout containers from supporting our local restaurants, as well as any other clean out recyclables. So if they're doing any type of clean outs of their homes or whatnot, there's a new stream that's going into the recycling. It's not new, it's just a heavier stream with, you know, Amazon, Chewy, Wayfair, people, you know, getting rid of old furniture and redecorating with new stuff and, you know, cleaning out their basements, garages, yards, etc. So I did speak with Jared, and you guys are up about 60 plus tons of single stream as of March of this year. And that's, it's not unusual, but that's pretty high considering Truro is not the most, you know, well, it's just, you know, occupancy year round is not as high as like say a Barnstable or a Falmouth, Sandwich, etc. But I do know the seasonality of Truro and Wellfleet and Provincetown gets up to about 72% higher than your year round population. So the summer probably definitely affected those numbers, and hopefully we'll see that go down as these part-timers start to go home, if they do ever go home, because now that we're all working from home, they don't want to go home to New York or whatever, and they are just staying here on the Cape.
Yep.
Yeah, I think it'd be really great if we could separate out the glass from single stream recycling. The transportation costs with the glass have to be so much higher because glass is so heavy. And transportation is 50% of the greenhouse gas emissions that are produced. That's, I think, nationwide, and certainly here on the Cape in particular, they say that because there's so much, so many trucks, so many cars, and not a lot of public transportation. So again, 50% of greenhouse gas emissions on the Cape are due to transportation.
Did they, when they went to single stream for now, they did stop taking glass to the town of Dennis?
They did.
Okay, that's good to know. I didn't realize that, and I probably should have made that assumption when he said that, but I did not. So that's good to know because glass is a heavy material.
Right. Hopefully they'll be in a position to safely source separate the glass out. He said that's his first, and it'd be great if he could do cardboard and newspaper too. That's
yeah, because those fiber materials. But again, I mean, these commodity prices, you know, kind of follow the global markets. And so you can have something really great for a week or two, a month, a year, and then all of a sudden the pricing sort of drops. So you have to sort of challenge yourself to figure out whether or not, I mean, especially at a time now where safety is an issue, but in general, you have to determine whether or not making that change, which I know Wellfleet's already a dual stream anyway, but I mean, at least typically they are. So I'm still a big believer in source separation for contamination reasons and because you can follow markets and get better pricing, assumably. But I do have colleagues that argue single stream is the best way to do things. So it really just sort of depends on the personal perspective. You know, it's like standing on either side of a 6 or a 9, right? So
Well, the transportation costs, though, are a major concern if we're spending the money on fossil fuels, taking it off Cape. If it were maybe, if it went by train, you know, that would be better, perhaps. But the glass, because of the processed glass aggregate program, which is where they take glass bottles and they crush it up into a fine, pretty fine gravel, they can use that for construction projects, roadbed projects, and things like that, kind of like clean fill.
Yeah.
That would, I mean, ideally glass bottles would be refilled by the bottlers, but that's, I think, that's a long range hope.
And those are a lot of wine bottles. I used to see that at the dump, a lot of wine.
A lot of wine bottles for sure. And so there could be, you know, then the beer bottles, obviously there's a deposit, so those are probably kept out for the most part. But all the glass jars and wine bottles, those could be processed right here on the Cape in Dennis into processed glass aggregate. And that way you're not shipping it off Cape. You're not also spending money on incoming sand for roadbed projects. You're using the stuff that you've got. And I think
Not polluting as much.
Yeah.
Is it still a requirement that you take the same weight or volume or something as you bring in to your
I think
town?
so, but maybe you could also buy some if there's extra available. It could be purchased at a much lower cost. I think
I
it
think
was
so far the
We
town
wanted
of
to-
Dennis has not asked the municipalities to take their tonnage back yet because
Oh.
there is interest in the bulk of it. So because they can stockpile it as a finished construction project where they can't stockpile unprocessed glass, but they can stockpile it afterwards, they're able to hold on to it as long as there's the capacity to do so for larger scale projects like Orleans. They want 6,000 tons to do their sewer project. So if Dennis can accumulate that much by the time they're ready to use it as a fill, they're hopefully going to purchase that rather than an aggregate from an aggregate company at a higher cost.
So that's
So right now, yes, is the short answer to your question. It's a requirement, but they're not asking the towns to do so as of right now because they want to stockpile it for different types of projects that have been asked of them. It's just they need to have enough of it.
Okay.
That's been the big issue, is getting enough of it. And there's only 5 towns participating. And it sounds like that participation has stopped, at least from Wellfleet at the moment, because of using single stream.
maybe
If,
what we should do. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
I don't want to distract on behalf of Truro. So just a yes or no answer. Carrie, did you talk to Jared about that or not yet?
No,
Okay, thank you.
he did not bring that up. The other thing is I don't know if this is something, doesn't do with the recycling, but Yarmouth has that commercial solid waste side for the rail that goes to Covanta. And I know Wellfleet uses ABC, but if they wind up contracting or whatnot with Covanta, I know the town of Dennis switched their contract from ABC to Covanta, and they take their solid waste to Yarmouth to be railed in at a much lower cost than taking it off Cape to Rochester themselves.
That's a good.
Again, ABC is the contractor for Wellfleet. Truro, I believe, is Covanta, so that might be a solution for the solid waste, at least for transportation remaining on Cape, so going to Yarmouth rather than all the way to Rochester.
Definitely, good point. Maybe for the Board of Health meeting on October 14th, you know, I encourage all of our folks here to participate in that meeting and maybe try hard to get the glass separated out from the single stream. The sooner the better, sounds like to me.
What's the date of that meeting again?
It's October 14th, and I think they meet at 6, but we could look that up and get you the agenda.
Lydia, does the Board of Health make decisions about how solid waste is disposed of, how recycling is disposed of, or is that the
Yes.
DPW?
No, it's the Board of Health. They're the ones that implemented pay as you throw.
Okay,
And they oversee the transfer station.
right. The reason I'm asking is because I talked to Mike a while back, and he said that that now that ABC is not sending their waste or directing towns to go directly to Covanta, he said that the last he had heard, they were trucking it to Virginia for landfilling.
I hate the idea of that.
Yeah. The
Just
worst.
imagine the distance. It's crazy. But that's what, that's the system we have with all this packaging and just, incinerators and landfills, they're equally, they have each has problems, but the idea of actually transporting it all that distance to a landfill.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you guys tried to do any education with your town about what can go in the grocery store recycling? With anything that says 2 and 4 on it, and it ends up that the Amazon bubble envelopes say that they can be recycled in that manner. Just have you been able to do any encouraging of diverting that stuff?
Christine, did you want to say?
Yeah, I was just going to say that for a while, Mike tried helping that because people kept putting their plastic bags into the blue screen bins. So he provided a place for them to just make sure they go in the trash. There's like a bin right before they put their recycling in, but that was just going into the trash. So then provided a bin that he would then drop off at, I think it was, which of the markets was it? The one
Stop and Shop maybe, or Shaw's?
Shaw's, but it was so contaminated that they said they couldn't take it anymore.
Apparently from that podcast I listened to, the person being interviewed said that the MRFs are not accepting plastic film anymore for recycling.
Who is not accepting it?
The materials recovery facilities.
Oh, well, they never did the plastic film, but it goes to, to Trex for.
Well, I guess they've been collecting, apparently, I guess they might be a way station for it, but I don't know. That was what he said, that the MRFs aren't collecting it. There was a whole lot. When we visited E.L. Harvey, there were great big bales of it.
Of plastic film?
Yeah.
I don't remember that. But I thought that was just always a contaminant film.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It is, but
they collect it from sorting it out of.
I guess it's not getting forwarded to Trex from there. That's my sense.
Yeah.
I don't know, but maybe we can find out. All right, let's go on to the next thing, Black Earth Compost, which is exciting. They're Massachusetts-based company, and Christina's been working with the Violence Group. So Christine, do you want to talk about Black Earth Compost?
Yeah, so Mary Ruther with Compost with me, that we went on a field trip to visit a 2-3 years ago. Her routes have been turned over to this North Shore, I think, based company called Black Earth. They provide residential and commercial pickup. And so they are now servicing Mary's routes in Falmouth. And they would like to expand onto the Cape, but they need about 40 customers per town in order to start pickups. And their pricing structure basically depends on the volume that they have in that town and the volume that frequency that they pick up at different places. So sort of a next step from the Care for the Cape and Islands Summits, the subgroup that I'm working on is cooperative purchasing. And so we did the compostable products guide, and now we're thinking that we will move in some way to try to promote and I mean, we can't exactly recruit customers, but we can try to do some outreach and to spread the word about commercial compost pickup.
Excuse me, this is picking up food waste from household, is that what you mean?
It is, yes.
Yeah.
So it's residential and commercial service.
And if you go to their website, you can sign up in advance, even before they provide service in your town. And then when they get to a threshold, they can start. Anyway, and the next online summit panel that Jill at Care for the Cape on the Islands is doing will be about composting.
Okay.
It has Black Earth is coming, and then she's looking for compostable product vendors and some businesses that compost to also be on the panel. If anybody knows of any restaurants or food service businesses that compost, or please pass names along. So they're looking for panelists.
What is the date for that summit, please?
I'm not sure of the date yet, but I will let you know.
Thank you.
Send out the invite.
Whole Foods certainly does in Hyannis, and then I know the Chatham Bars Inn has a farm, and I believe they compost, and the canteen in Provincetown has they did last
Do they
summer.
compost?
They had a compost,
Do they?
Yeah.
Okay.
their outside dining area.
I'm not sure they do now, but I'll check.
Yeah, that's something they might be urged to bring back if they only did it, if they're not doing it now because of the pandemic.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah, there's also the possibility of municipal collection. I don't, the schools are, I'm not really sure where they're at in terms of school lunches, but there's got to be food waste there.
Mhm.
And
Yes, they currently service a lot of institutions, colleges, universities. So that's definitely a big plus for them.
yeah,
That's a good point. We could do some outreach with schools
definitely.
to try to get them to start composting.
Mhm. And there are assisted living places and nursing homes that probably produce quite a bit of food waste. Just trying to think of where there's, a community where they are producing food waste
Right.
together.
I have a thought that has a question too about that, is that as soon as you ask a body, single or a company or a school to do something, then they have to find a location to do it, who in the school system's going to do it. If somehow we can have a little info or suggestions about that, we're not giving them another problem to solve or project to manage. So I don't know if anyone's ever thought of, if we come with trying to encourage them to do this, could we come along with, well, it can be done this way to help them try to facilitate it?
That's
It's
probably
not quite
something the
clear.
Black Earth service folks could do. They could come in and take a look at the system that's in place and then suggest the best
Okay,
way to manage it. That's their expertise.
okay, thank you. Thank you, I didn't know that.
That's what Mary always did. She has, signs, and she walks through and basically explains to them the best way to compost at different stations in the kitchen and such.
Fantastic, I just didn't know that, thank you.
So number 3 is zero waste policies, municipal procurement, and the state contract. There's, as some of you might know, the state of Massachusetts has a state contract where municipalities can buy certain things like, they're going to need paper for the restrooms. They're going to need, any number of things they can buy in bulk through the state contract. One year we got wire recycling bins through a state program. And they do have an environmentally friendly product section. It's I find looking at the state contract, it's very, it's somewhat difficult to look at the website to find what you need. But maybe they could make that easier. That's something that may carry, I don't know if you have thoughts about that, but talking with the state to see if they could have it like right up front, all the greenest products in an easy to find way, so ordering becomes simpler. And zero waste is becoming, rather than recycling, zero waste policies are becoming something important that the towns want to do this.
So as far as the, so from what I was on a webinar from OSD, and I think that's the Operational Services Division. And so they deal with like FAC 87, FAC, 110. So they have to do with like recycling bins or paper, home composters, hazardous waste material cleanup, disposal, pharmaceutical disposal, cleanup, collection, etc. So when I was going to FAC, I believe it was 87 to get kitchen composters that I dropped off at the various transfer stations. I took Mike Sicali about 4 or 5 boxes over to them. I just went on to Google and typed in state contracted vendors, and there's a website that comes up. I can send you the contractor listing from that webinar, and then that way you can forward it to your town's purchasing department, and they can use that if they would like. There's 2 variances with that. So some towns are required to use combis. Combis, when you solicit them, what they do is they put it out to bid through an RFP through various vendors that are on that state contract, if there are more than one. Or in some cases, you can just say, oh, I really like working with blah, blah, blah. So I'm just going to call them and have them send me a shipment or whatever. So it just depends on how your town's procurement is written out. So I can send you that listing, and then you can forward that through. As far as when I was talking to Brooke, she says, especially in bulk purchasing, it's always best to put out a bid. But again, it's with solid waste especially, there's no 30B. So in the procurement laws, you're exempt from that, but with other purchasing, it's best to use a state contract because it's at discounted pricing.
So for the schools or something like that, they could purchase eco-friendly products through the state contract.
Yeah, and they have to meet certain minimum requirements to be on that state contract. So in some cases, they have to service so many folks that are, say, in an economic justice area, or they have to be, served, in some cases, it has to be like a women-owned organization, or so there's different types of things that allows them to be on those state contracts with pricing and etc. So they would definitely have some of the most environmentally friendly products, and then the pricing again in bulk is discounted. So that helps the procurement team save there a little bit as well.
I wonder if the work that Christine did on the all of the compostable products, the buying guide, if that's something that you could take to this group, the state contractor in Brooke.
Well, there was I think I emailed you and you were not available, Lydia, but there was a Zoom meeting. It's the Cape Cod Municipal Procurement. Anyways, it's like a great organization for Cape Cod procurement officials, municipal. So Roby Whitehouse, who is she runs the DPW in Yarmouth, I believe. Is it Yarmouth? Yeah. Anyway, so she had suggested that I give a small presentation about compostable products, which I did on their last meeting. But the most interesting thing about the meeting was that Julia Wolf, who runs the environmentally preferable products part of OSD, gave a pretty lengthy presentation about using their website and how to find lists. And the presentation was posted, so I can send that around so
Good.
that
Oh,
you
good.
can see what's available.
How can we kind of nudge them along though to actually get these things out there? I don't know if they're doing it. Last we knew, I think the middle school was still using polystyrene
Really? Mm.
plates and things, the trays. Yeah, I don't know if that's changed.
Well, maybe that's sort of an outreach or education kind of thing we can do early
Yeah,
next year.
towns could set goals. So like by a certain year, they would be using 100% recycled products, or, so
I
on and
guess
so
the first
forth.
step would be to find out what they do. And I can use my friend who's on the Wellfleet school board to find out. She was really surprised that they weren't more environmentally friendly in terms of the products, to-go products they were using.
Okay.
But we were talking about our plans for the future. That would be a good one.
Yeah. All right, thanks. Water bottle refill stations, the status of that?
Well, that's on hold because the Board of Health is still preventing water stations and water fountains from being accessible. They've all got bags over them, both in town buildings and the outdoor one at Baker Field.
Okay.
So that's kind of put on hold the moving forward with the installation of the one at the marina. I went and talked to the harbor master, and they said, well, it doesn't make much sense for us to install it if we can't use it. So they're planning to wait until another year to do it until
Yeah. All right. Producer responsibility. I wrote to a company, it's called Sunset, and they're based, I think, in Canada, and they produce produce. And I'm not great at growing tomatoes, so I do buy tomatoes. And theirs come in a plastic container, and then the top is plastic film. So it's better than a box where that's 50% more plastic if it had the bottom and the top made of rigid or the #1 plastic. So I wrote to them. It was through their online form, and I just got a kind of form letter back saying that they were going to send it to the customer service department. And anyway, I'll let you know what happens. I just I let them know that Wellfleet had approved, a polystyrene ban and commercial plastic water bottle ban and another plastic bag ban and so on. So it's kind of fun to write to them. The tax insert, we heard that the printer can only use cardstock because regular paper gets stuck in their machines. And the cost was going to be $600 for us to do it in color, which seemed like a really huge amount. So it basically said that we wouldn't be doing it and that we'd find another way to get that information out to Wellfleet residents.
It's too bad because Chris did a really nice,
Yeah.
Yeah.
copy. But we'll use it for something.
Yeah, we can use it.
Yeah, we can get it out there.
Twitter.
You can put it on Instagram.
Mhm.
And then if there's other ways to, I just don't know if any printed material is going out. Is there, like, nothing's going out at, for instance, the food pantry, Christine, or no?
Well, they only have, well, we make calls to let people know what the new schedule is.
Mhm.
But they don't have any like flyers and stuff other than things related to the pantry.
I noticed that the Chamber of Commerce, they have a little kiosk on Bank Street with their guide in it, but I haven't really seen it at other places. So I think the getting paper out into the flyers and brochures, that just doesn't really seem to be happening.
Right.
So we have to do things just through the internet, I guess.
We could try to get something into the chamber. Oh, that reminds me, we have to talk about chamber membership.
Yes, that's up next.
Okay. They have a newsletter that we can submit things to.
Mhm.
So maybe we could try that.
Yeah, that's a good way to get it out there. And then if you, yeah, all right. We thank Chris for her work on that, and we will be able to use it. It's just maybe not right away.
Mhm.
And then renew Chamber of Commerce membership, and I believe it's like $125 for nonprofits.
Yes.
And the good thing about it is that you can't, like, non-members cannot use their email blast service. So and all members, whether nonprofit or commercial, have to pay the $35 email blast fee. So there's no waiving of that. Though we have asked in the past. And so we have to decide if we want to do it this year again. How do you feel? You want to wait a year until we know that things are going to be a little more
I
lively?
think it's, I think it's a good thing to do because I think it's important to work with the business community, but
Yeah.
I mean, how much did we make use of it this year? I'm trying to remember.
Yeah.
I don't think we did any email blasts this year. But
Didn't we want to get that? We got them the compostable buying guide, but I don't think they didn't include it in the newsletter. They said they'd put it on Facebook. So
yeah,
that was,
we can try that again.
yeah, yeah. Is it?
It's just a matter of giving them the link for.
Yeah. And I don't know if they used to do, obviously they'd have after hours events, and I don't know if they're planning on anything virtual with their members, but maybe we should find out a little bit more and try and get a commitment to being included in at least 4 newsletters a year or something like that, because we have sent material in the past and it hasn't always been sent out. So doesn't really it's not a great value for us, especially when we can't be at an after hours event. And there's also, they used to have something on their website that was a green services or kind of green section, and that's gone. That's not there anymore. And I did look at other towns, and other towns don't really have something like that, although I think Chatham had a conservation section on their website.
Jill, Care for the Cape and Islands, did do a postcard about the compostable serviceware guide.
Oh, good.
Composting. She's going to make that available, and she can give whoever is interested in distributing some.
Mm-hmm.
I can try to get a bunch from her.
Okay.
We can
send, we can spend some money on stamps and send them to certain folks, businesses maybe.
They're not mailable. They're double-sided printed.
Okay.
But yeah, anyway, so that's one way we could try to outreach.
Right.
So yeah, I don't really know.
Yeah. I started an email to the chamber. Do you envision a section on conservation and ecotourism? So maybe we could approve membership kind of contingent on getting our...
I don't know if our $125 is going to nudge them very much.
Well,
you never know.
I would propose staying in just because of Christine's. We do need to be in touch with those people, don't we?
Mm-hmm. All right. So is there a motion to approve the membership fee?
I propose we continue with it.
Okay.
Remind me what the fee is. I'm sorry.
Yep.
Please remind me what the fee is. I
believe
forgot.
it's $125 for nonprofits.
I second Jane's motion.
Okay, so that's yes, and
Defense.
yeah, we can write to them and say we would. I did, ask at least could we have a quarterly reminder of the newsletter that goes out, because sometimes it would be one month and not the next. And so I think if that were a little bit more regular, especially now that there aren't the after hours things, and we do have information we want to share, and And she, the executive director there does want to include, and she was happy with the work that we're doing, so it would be good.
Good. Yeah.
I don't know how broadly it's actually really read. There's so much stuff going out now, but it's not like we're looking at a lot of money, and
Mhm.
it is connection. So.
Yeah.
And it does give us access to their, I can't, how many thousands of people do they have on their email?
3,800, 3,000.
3, 4, 5,000. And that's what we have used in the past for having a forum or whatever.
You know, it's interesting. We've been a member the whole time we've had a B&B. I've never seen their alerts. I haven't seen anything in the last 2 years.
You have to subscribe to their e-newsletter.
On top of being a member?
Yeah.
Okay. Maybe I just haven't.
Go to the website and subscribe.
Yeah.
So let's have our vote, and I think this has to be a roll call, or say your name and then your vote.
Jen Sharp, yes.
Thank you.
Christine, yes.
Lydia, yes.
Jaya, yes.
Is Beth in favor? Beth is muted. Beth, you can hit your space bar and that will unmute you. Or not. Or
We
just
can't hear you, Beth.
go like
You could raise
this.
your hand, maybe.
Okay. Well, I think we have.
Oh, she's got her thumb up. Yay.
All right. So
We could even do it with a smile.
What's that?
I said we could even do it with a smile, right?
Yeah, that's true. Or like,
We can't see you though, Jane. So how
No,
many,
but I can see. If you could.
was that 5-0?
yeah.
Okay.
Thanks, everybody. Alternatives to plastic aquaculture equipment. We don't have our interns or Tom Siju with us today, but we'll put that on for next meeting. Social media posts. I think let's get that text insert onto Instagram.
Yeah, I think that sounds great. Any other suggestions people have for Chris on social media postings?
What about the commercial plastic water bottle ban? Maybe we could put something up there, like the,
Thank you, Wellfleet.
graphics. Yeah, that's a nice idea.
And actually, Chris did mention something when she said she couldn't be here this month. She said, how about some kind of a thank you, Wellfleet, on social media?
Yeah,
So that would be,
Yeah.
perfect.
I'd just like to raise something. There was a very big program on the BBC, and I can't recall how and when, but it was making the point that COVID has made the whole plastic thing so much worse.
Yeah.
Because people are throwing wipes and they're being less careful, and it's just a way just to remind people that, for a while when COVID happened and we were all locked down, we thought, wonderful, this is going to be very good. No travel, no pollution. But in fact, on the plastic, it's been a whole lot worse. So just to remind people not to sort of sit back and think
that's a
everything's
good
going
idea.
swimmingly.
Yeah.
It's actually
Very
much
good.
worse than it was before COVID.
Jane, I also saw something in The Guardian about a new sort of standard for plastic. I don't know if it was just single-use products, that it has some kind of chemicals in it that have been, I think all the products in the UK are going to have these chemicals in it that cause it to start decomposing, and they have to have markings saying when they're recycling. It was a Guardian article. I'll send it around. Did you see anything about that, Jane?
No, but I think that might have come up in this program too. Yes, there was
Yeah.
somebody trying to break down plastic.
Yes.
Some enzyme.
And that apparently is like at a national level, they've implemented this new
Right.
standard
Mhm.
products to have these chemicals in it.
Too bad I have to-
Does it break down into very tiny particles?
It breaks down
That
into.
may not be a good thing for fish, though. Right? That's going down into tiny particles can be a
It's not
danger
a
too.
breakdown into microplastics. It changes it into something else. And I will send out the article because I forget the details.
Okay.
Yeah, thank
Yeah,
you.
that-
I'd love to read that.
So community cutlery, we have, the wedding is on.
Right?
And we thank Turo for providing dinner plates.
Yes, and Amy had collected a lot of white plates. They had someone in Truro that collected plates over a long period of time for a wedding and then donated them to the recycling committee. So we have quite a few plates from Amy. And I have stuff at my house now for Bridget to pick up on Friday for the wedding. I talked to Naomi at the library and she did a contactless pickup for things we needed from the library.
Great.
And then I went yesterday to get the X-frame from the transfer station, so we're all set.
Good job. And thank you, Amy and Turo, for that. And I hope that maybe put a note in the package, the box for them to take pictures of the wedding with some of, I'm sure they're gonna have tons of photographs, but if they could have, and maybe we
Right.
could also include a little poster saying that it's Wellfleet and Truro community, community cutlery program.
Yeah, I did ask Naomi for the thing that's in like plexiglass that goes on the table. So she did send that, but I can add something at the bottom about Truro as well.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
Okay.
All right, thanks. Oh, sweet. Now, Carol, thank you so much for being at our meeting and give us an update.
Yes, thanks, Lydia. I'm sorry I missed the last one. I do have a bit of good news, which you may have heard, that we got a grant from the Department of Energy Resources for $130, almost $8,000
Wow.
for town buildings. I think the largest component was an energy management system for the elementary school. There's LED lighting for the library and the town hall, and also for town hall, new drives and motor for the water circulation pumps. And lastly, a heat pump hot water heater for the Council on Aging. The latter was only partially funded, so I'm not sure it's going to happen. But the others should be a go. So that's good news.
Congratulations. That's great.
Congratulations. Yeah.
Yeah, Suzanne and I worked on that grant with Cape Light Compact. Margaret's song at Cape Light Compact is wonderful. And I think the last time I was here, I mentioned the C-bin, which we were thinking about trying to get grant money for. And the harbor master asked me the assistant harbor master asked me a good question, which is, what about the tides? And it turns out that the C-bin has to stay in water. It cannot be marooned on the tidal flats. So perhaps after the dredging takes place, there would be enough water, but I think it requires like 4 feet of water at all times. So we'll look at that again. I guess the dredging has actually started, so it might be rather than later. And the other big thing the committee has been talking about is the high school and wanting the new Nauset Regional High School to adapt net zero emissions, and so far we don't seem to have made much progress. That's my report.
Thank you. And there's no progress on the solar panel.
Landfill, no.
Every time I drive by, I think, what a waste.
I know. Summer completely gone, and
Yeah, that's right. All that hot sun. It was an amazingly hot summer.
Yeah.
Okay. Committee vacancies. So yeah, 1 regular, 2 alternates. But again, Carol, thank you for that. And do you know anybody that wants recycling committee?
I wonder if we can do any outreach somehow,
Mhm.
other than word of mouth. I'm doing that when I meet people. Whenever anybody asks me anything about recycling committee, I say, "Are you interested? Do you know anybody that's interested?"
Yeah. What about?
I have
food
someone I'm
buses?
gonna ask.
Oh, good.
I have someone in particular. She's very bright. She's very busy. She's also a local doctor, so, and she's with the school. She's, kind of the school doc that they bring her into a lot of meetings, but she's got a lot of energy.
Mhm.
So I'm going to broach the subject with her and see if she wants to take on one more thing.
Excellent. You know what I'll do is I'll send out, there's a form that the town uses. I can send it to everybody in PDF. So if you have someone that's interested, you could print it out for them or they can fill it out. Just
Yeah.
send it.
Just to have it would be good because
Yeah.
I'm starting to think, who.
Okay, I'll do that.
Lydia, Courtney did send out something recently about vacancies.
Okay.
And she keeps a list. Maybe we can make sure she's aware.
Yeah. Committee application. All right. All right. Correspondence, future agenda items. I would say if you have a future agenda item, email it to Christine. Will chair the next meeting. So anyone's always welcome to suggest agenda items and email them in to us. Correspondence. I haven't been to the town mailbox. I guess we could ask if there's anything there. They put it outside in the drop box, the back of the town hall. We don't go
Another
into.
thing to bring up at the health Board of Health meeting is the swap shop.
Oh yeah, that's right. We don't have that on the agenda this month.
Is that on the agenda? Do you know?
I don't know. I don't think so, but I'll check. But yeah, we can.
And the water stations.
Yeah.
Has your swap been closed since COVID hit?
Yes.
How
Yeah,
about yours,
so-
Amy?
Yeah, it's been closed and they say, won't open until phase 4, basically when there's a vaccine.
Oh,
Wow.
And, but we already have an issue with having enough volunteers and it's the way the space is in there and the way it's set up at the transfer station. There have been some suggestions about outdoor times, which I think my memory of yours is that might be possible to have some tables outside and reduce the hours and have outside drop off and that sort of thing.
Yeah.
But it's not practical for our layout because there's so much traffic all over the place. But
yeah, it's the same in Wellfleet.
yeah, and I'm very late on. I'm going to put up signs so people can have some ideas about other places to take stuff.
Right.
AIM, Mass Appeal, Methodists in Provincetown,
Mhm.
stuff like that.
That would be a good social media post.
Yes, that would
Get
be good for
together a
you guys.
list of places because AIM doesn't take furniture or.
Right, the Methodist place takes furniture, and but AIM and Mass Appeal, can take clothes, sort of in
Right.
varying.
Mhm.
Lydia works there; she knows the
Yeah.
criteria.
It's all by appointment. There's a couple of great volunteers that you make an appointment with them to drop off, not during business hours, not during the opening hours, but after.
And the Methodist place, if you were going to post the information, they are taking drop-offs from 10 to noon only. And they've got a great setup. They've got 2 little sheds and you just put it in there yourself.
And which church
So,
is this? In what town?
That's the Methodist Church in Provincetown. It's a great place
On
to
Shank
take stuff.
Painter Road.
Yeah,
Okay.
On
And
Shank Painter?
yes,
right.
on Shank Painter. And it's kind of interesting just, having worked in the churro swap for a while, things that don't, might sit there for a long time. So someone says, oh, we should get rid of this. Then I take it to the Methodist church and they'll sell it right away. So, it's kind of, you get to know the personalities of the towns and what moves best in which place.
Huh.
So that's one of my, I'm the sort of distribution queen that way, if
I
you
see.
ever want to have any ideas about that.
Maybe we should just put your name on the.
Yeah.
There you go. There you go. I'm always
Very
driving
nice.
around. And also, I mean, just since I've got a captive audience here, I also have contact with a woman whom I met through the swap, a young woman who works at the homeless shelter in Hyannis. So I am bringing her towels, sheets, blankets, warm clothes, those sorts of things. And I am willing to be a go-between. So if you just personally have that stuff or have any capacity to collect that, they need can openers. Because
Okay.
these are literally people out, who are living on the street a lot of the time. And then they also help, occasionally they get to set someone up in a new house, in a household. So they like to have that stuff on hand as well.
How do we get a hold of you, Amy?
I can tell you my info now, or Christine can send, or Lydia
Whatever
can send it out.
I can send your email out so that.
Yes, in my email, and you have my phone number too. It's fine to use my phone number as well.
I appreciate that.
And
Yeah.
is there any place that does the homeless center post what their needs are, or should we just?
Not that I know of. I've just had this personal contact. She lives in Truro, and I just brought the stuff over to her house. So
Okay.
if you wanted to pick up on that, I can connect with her and ask her if she's interested in,
Okay.
a bigger, more organized way of getting stuff to her. But in the meantime, I'm happy to pick up and drop off.
Great. Thank you. Wonderful.
Yeah.
Thank you very
And
much.
it's also a good place, like I have a sweater, a wool sweater, and it has a little hole in it. And like, that's okay. They just need to be warm.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
things that the thrift shops would toss can be okay.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Great.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Thank you. Let's go to the minutes. Now,
Just adding to the swap shop question real quick, or comments. I did do a reach to see where people were that do have swap shops on the Cape, and there is no plan at the moment for any of them to reopen at the moment. So unfortunately, that part of the solid waste and recycling diversion stream is still on hold.
Mhm.
So I got a response, and not one of them said that they were even talking about it yet.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, there's
Good to know.
people in Provincetown put furniture out on the street pretty regularly, and I think a lot of it gets picked up. Depends. I've seen a lot of upholstered furniture on the highway that's gotten wet. That's
I know.
picked up.
Oh, dumping.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
maybe Instagram could be another place for like some furniture, some large pieces. Probably people use Facebook.
There is Wellfleet Swap Facebook group. You just have to join it, and then it takes a day or so to get approved. But then you have to take pictures and post them.
Yeah. Okay. Now to the minutes. Let's see if I can do this easily. Probably not.
Do you want me to pull them up?
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
You probably have to give me permission to share, but let me check.
One participant can, multiple participants can share simultaneously. Okay, I just clicked that.
Okay, there we go.
Yay, good.
Oh, great.
Mhm.
You want it bigger. Okay, so since I sent it out just recently, I will read it quickly.
Yeah.
Transfer station, the Friends of the Library has a Discover Books used book drop-off container. Oh, that's something that we can put on the post, social media. Let me just make a quick note.
Right in the library.
And tells that last Hazardous Waste Day was on October 3rd. Number 2 was the report from Tom on the SAB and the micro grant they were working on with, he was working on with Carrie. And number 3 is the town meeting, and it's just about, you know, slides and flyers and Carrie's suggestion about the glass bottle. Number 4, cooperative purchasing group, mentioning Black Earth signups, and perhaps a densely populated area pilot project. Water bottles are on hold. Fall tax insert waiting for select board approval. Community cutlery, all the item universal waste, all of our community cutlery items lost in the universal waste shed fire have been replaced, and they're stored. Social media posts and minutes.
Great. I move to approve those minutes.
I'll second that.
Second that. Well, actually, I wasn't there, so I don't think I can approve the minutes, can I?
I think you can still approve them.
I can. Well, I do approve them. It's just that I wasn't there, so I wouldn't know. I approve them anyway.
Alrighty.
Okay, I do.
I
All
approve them. Whoops, let me get
all
back.
in favor? Lydia, aye.
Christine, aye.
Aye.
Okay, great. So now the treasury report, I do not have that. And I think the town is really busy trying to work on the tax, property tax, how much to charge all of us folks.
Mhm.
So I haven't received anything by email.
I didn't realize I was still sharing. Sorry about that.
That's okay, no problem. I think what I'll do is see if we can get a monthly treasury report or quarterly report by email.
Did we vote to approve the minutes?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
It was 5-0.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry.
Yeah, so for the treasury report, we're going to ask the town accountant to email us the report for next month,
Yeah.
if possible. You know, if hopefully we can get something. There might be something too in the mailbox, so I'll call the town hall and see if what's in our mailbox.
Sounds good.
Okay.
And hopefully we can get a report that includes both our own fundraising funds as well as
Mhm.
new budget.
Okay. Okay, super. I think our next meeting is going to be November 10th because November 3rd is election day. That's, yeah.
Let's
Here.
have something to celebrate.
What's that?
Let's hope we have something to celebrate.
Yeah.
Yes, indeed.
So November 10th, mark your calendars for the recycling meeting.
Yeah.
And if there's not anything else, let's hear a motion to adjourn.
I make a motion to.
I so-
Motion.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll do
Thank you for having me.
No, thanks for being
Welcome,
here.
Amy. We'll keep you on the list if you'd like for.
Yes, please. I very much,
Yeah.
great inspiration you all are. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
A ton of great
And
information.
thanks
Thanks
for
for
very
being here, Amy and Carol.
Yeah.
Thank
Yes.
you.
Yes, thank you.
You
Okay,
bet.
adjourning at 12:20.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay,
And thank you, Christine and Lydia.
yes.
You're
thank
welcome,
Hold on.
recycling members. And Carrie, thanks for joining us today.
Okay. Take care, everybody.
Hi, Beth.
You guys have a
Hi,
great day.
Beth. Good to see you.
Bye.
Bye all.
Bye.